Conon de Béthune was a French crusader and trouvère poet who became a senior official and finally regent of the Latin Empire of Constantinople. Alternative spellings of his name include Coesnes, Quenes, Conan, and Quenon. Probably born before 1160, he was the fifth son of Robert V de Béthune, hereditary lord of Béthune and advocate of the Abbey of St. Vaast at Arras in today's Pas-de-Calais, who died on the Third Crusade at the Siege of Acre in 1191, and his wife Alice, daughter of Hugues III, Count of St. Pol. His four elder brothers were Robert VI de Béthune, who succeeded his father as Lord of Béthune and advocate of Arras; Guillaume II de Béthune, who succeeded his brother as Lord of Béthune and advocate of Arras; Baudouin de Béthune, Count of Aumale and companion of King Richard I of England; and Jean de Béthune, bishop and secular ruler of Cambrai. Conan was educated by his cousin, the noted poet Hugues III d'Oisy, Castellan of Cambrai, who taught him the art of poetry. It is probable, from comments made in one of his poems, that Conan appeared before the French court at the occasion of the marriage of King Philippe Auguste with Isabelle of Hainaut in 1180 and sang his songs before Marie de Champagne, noted for her connection to the poet Chrétien de Troyes. He was however embarrassed, as he recorded wryly in the poem Maut me sementamos que je m'en vois, by his artesian accent. After having taken part in the Third Crusade to Palestine, Conan de Béthune went with his brother Guillaume on the Fourth Crusade in 1203, accompanying the Knights of Baldwin, Count of Flanders and Hainaut. At the outset he was chosen as one of 6 knights to command all transport and supplies, and when the army arrived at Constantinople he was appointed its spokesman in negotiations with the Byzantines. His rhetorical ability, wisdom and chivalry were praised by fellow crusader Geoffroy de Villehardouin, who said of Conan, "Bon chevalier et sage histoire et bien éloquence." After the diverted Crusades' capture of Constantinople in 1204, Conan held a number of important positions in the Latin Empire, the successor to the Byzantine Empire established by the Crusaders and centered on Constantinople. Awarded the senior title of Protovestiarius, inherited from the Byzantine court, sometime in 1205. He played a key role in Baldwin's reconciliation with Boniface of Montferrat before the Battle of Adrianople against the Bulgarians, in which Baldwin was captured and later put to death. In 1209, he supervised the signing of the Treaty of Sapienza on the emperor's behalf. Conan then served Baldwin's brother Henry of Flanders until his death in 1217, followed by Baldwin's sister Yolanda of Flanders, during which time he defended the city of Adrianople and was raised to the higher rank of Sevastocrator. On the death of Yolanda in 1219, her son Robert of Courtenay became emperor but was far away in France. In his absence, the barons of the empire elected Conan to serve as regent, but he died shortly after. Landholdings. He had various lands in France, as seigneur or as tenant. He was seigneur of Bergues near Dunkirk in 1202 and also of 2 villages where in that year he freed the inhabitants, almost certainly to raise funds for crusading. These holdings he left in the charge of his nephew, Robert VII, Lord of Béthune, while he was away. Family. Though the name of his wife is unknown, 2 sons are recorded: Conan de Béthune, called the Strong, who was alive in 1238, and Baudouin de Béthune, who inherited his father's lordship of Adrianople, maybe after the death of his elder brother. It later passed to the Dukes of Athens. Baudouin also held the court title of Caesar, likewise adopted from Byzantine practice. Poetry. Only 14 works of poetry attributed to Conan de Béthune have survived, and several of these attributions may be doubtful. His poetry was written to be sung, and 10 of his poems give musical notation. The majority of his poems are courtly love songs, but 2 of them are important chansons de crusader, crusade songs in which the poet lover deplores his approaching departure from his beloved but, nevertheless, accepts the noble calling of crusader. Conon de Béthune also shows himself at times to be ironic or satirical, and in one of his crusade poems he rails with vehemence against financial abuses by those collecting funds for the Crusaders. Some think he married Anne of Paris after composing a poem for her. Some works by Conan are Chants on Ligure et Entendre, Si voiement conceal don je chante madmi sement amours que je m'envoise, ahi amours comme Dieu dit parti bien mi justagia chere je devrais beldos dame chier tantai am ecutio arme convient he, la lutria unjore pre ecutes le Saint Denis la lutria of intensa l'autre pays.